I'm a senior lecturer in finance at the Kelley School of Business here at Indiana University.
My name is Sam, and I work at an IU apparel store here in town on Kirkwood.
Really, since the era post-COVID, inflation has picked up substantially from what it had been for the prior 10 or 15 years. The demand was very strong and the supply was limited. There was supply chain issues. You can recall that you'd go to a store and one day there were bananas and the next day there were no bananas. And you say, well, why is this? Bananas aren't something that are difficult to supply, but the supply chain was just broken. There were points in the supply chain where maybe there was a shortage of workers or a shortage of trucks or a shortage of containers to take goods from. The combination of those two actions started to drive inflation.
The project now is budgeted at $70 million, an increase of $20 million from the original estimate.
So the industries typically that are impacted by inflation first are those that are in most demand. Typically we see inflation in what we call commodities, which are the raw materials that go into production. This cycle, it was a little bit different. We also saw labor inflation. We saw people who didn't really want to go to work. And so companies had to increase wages to entice people to go to work because they had just been off for a year and a half because of COVID. The challenge with inflation is, it's not just the prices go up, it's that they stay up. Prices really don't ever come down.
It's more difficult to save money right now.
So it's like you're climbing a mountain. And there's certain points when you're doing a mountain climb that are very steep. And there's other points where they're very shallow, but you're still climbing, you're still going up. And it's not like prices ever go down. There's no downhill when you're climbing up a mountain. And that's the challenge with inflation, is that the prices that were $14 an hour are now $20 an hour. Or the Subway sandwich that used to cost $9 an hour is now $14. It's never gonna go back to $9.
Definitely have to be a little bit more savvy with the way you spend as well. Eating out really isn't as much of an option as what it was for me, not too long ago.
Generally, those small businesses will be forced to raise prices because if they don't raise prices, they're not going to be in business very long because their margins, their profit margins are very slim. They don't really make a whole lot of profit. And so anytime they have a shock like that of inflation where a cost goes up, maybe it's the cost of the drivers or the workers, maybe it's the cost of the dough, the flour, maybe it's the cost of the pepperoni that's used in the pizzas. When any one of those things goes up, it's going to impact their profit. It's much harder for them to recover, so they have to pass that along. So what used to be a pizza that was $12 is now $15 or $16. And of course, people walk by a small business and their choice is Domino's for $7.99 or this small pizza place that just raised their price to $16. Where are they going to go? Probably going to go to Domino's.